Yeah, I would think that Draghi will be quite careful. The ECB is meeting in just under 2 weeks, so if they want to make any big statements about tapering, I suspect it would be more likely to be there, though one never knows. In terms of monetary policy, again, I think we'll be quite careful. We've seen, a range of mixed data, and as we were talking about earlier, you've got strong growth data, but very weak inflation data. I don't know if there's anything new for him to say today on that. So I suspect with Mario Draghi on the monetary front, it'll be relatively calm. Yellen could be more interesting. As you highlighted, there are a number of key issues floating around. She has used the Jackson Hole Symposium to make major statements before, but I think there are a couple of draining issues. One is the debt ceiling deadline coming up at the end of September, mid-October. That could disrupt markets. I don't know if you want to be making any strong statements going into that. So I suspect she's more likely to focus on what the topic of her speech is, which is financial stability. And perhaps, and what I'll be interested to see is whether she wades in on this debate of deregulation of financial institutions, which the Trump administration is starting to push, because that clearly has big implications for the Fed.
Would that be a major mover for the dollar, though? Because what the market is waiting for is any further clues when it comes to the reduction of the balance sheet or another rate hike in December. Currently, the market is pricing in, I believe, 42% right now when it comes to the December hike. Financial deregulation just doesn't sound as sexy as, the reduction of the balance sheet, does it? At least when it comes to the dollar.
No, absolutely. So I suspect, if she's focusing on the financial stability issues, the impact on the dollar is unlikely to be significant. The only way that it could have a, decent impact would be if she's implying that deregulation might cause them, the Fed, to be more active in tightening. That would be the only area, and I suspect she won't be too strong on that.
What is your view on the dollar? Because in the run-up to Jackson Hole this week, we've seen a little bit of repositioning, investors squaring their position, which in the dollar have previously been extremely short, maybe excessively short, and they've been squaring those positions in the lead-up to Jackson Hole. Do you think this could potentially be a turning point for the dollar? We've been there many times before. We thought the last jobs report was going to be a turning point. It wasn't quite. So what do you think this will be for the dollar?
I think it's possible, but relatively unlikely. And, we've seen the dollar index actually come back a little bit since the beginning of August. And we've seen the euro come off a little bit, which is interesting. But if I look at the medium-term fundamentals, I suspect that ultimately the dollar will remain relatively weak, and that the pressure will be on further weakness on the dollar.